Wisdom comes from the Greek word Sophia. Probably Sophia? Yeah. Sophie, meaning wisdom. Broad and full of intelligence, a used of knowledge of very diverse matters, higher or lower, meaning it's either earthly wisdom, like everyday logic, things that we need to think about and how to do it, what to do in any situation. That's the logical earthly wisdom, right? And there's spiritual wisdom as well, like revelation. Like your mind suddenly thinks of something, God inspires it. You never thought about it before. You never saw that before. And it just goes ding. That's what I call a divine wisdom, from God. So how is that, guys? If I want wisdom for anything, I can ask God and he'll give it to me freely. Yeah. I would say personally that all wisdom is divine because it's all from God, right? He says it. It's if any of you lacks wisdom, earthly wisdom or spiritual wisdom, ask him and he'll give it to you. So yeah, for me, wisdom is divine insight, it's divine knowledge, it's divine understanding, because it's all from God. Well, it's wisdom. Our heart posture needs to be in a place where we're like, I need direction, Lord. I need direction, I need focus, and I need God's supernatural empowerment. Because sure, we can use our intelligent minds and our logical minds, and sure, we can try to figure out things and try to plan things and try to set goals, but how about prayer, guys? Have you ever considered, here's all my plans, Lord, but I want to give them over to you. What do you say about this? Feel free to speak into any of this, Lord. Show me things, open my eyes up. Have you ever done that? You can work out so many things in your mind, but how do I partner with God? How do I pull him in? How does he get to be with me on this journey? Plan as much as we can, but invite God's supernatural wisdom as his supernatural knowledge and understanding. You'd be so surprised. So, applying this, seeking wisdom from God, so it's almost like your theme for the whole year. It's like it's the overarching theme and, kind of like your direction for the whole year, right? It can be anything that God has put on you to grow it, to work through. And yeah, so wisdom, this one word from the Lord, shapes our direction, it shapes our focus, and it empowers us. We all need that supernatural power because we can all give up easily. But when you have that word just growing in your heart and it just saturates you, it just gives you the direction. You don't give up because it's that word inside you. God, he put it there and it just keeps empowering you. It keeps opening up doors for you. I'll share you with my example too. So that's wisdom. But also if we're going to make progress too in life, in our year, we need passion. This is from Living Wisdom. Passion, persistence, and planning. So 3 things. Passion, what's in your heart? Is it really in your heart? Then outwork it fully if it's really in your heart. Persistence, we need it when things get tough, when I don't feel like doing it, when I feel like giving up. And planning, obviously, goal setting and sticking to those goals. Those goals are your accountability for progress. Remember, Stan talked about it twice. If we don't set goals, there's no progress. And I always say, this is our motto, action is traction. Action is traction. So no action, no traction, no progress, no movement. You will just be stuck, going around in circles. So always, action is traction. Yeah. Okay, so I'll share with you. I should have written down all the words that God gave me every single year for the last 3 years. But one word, I got the word deeper. Yeah. And you know what? The whole year, I was having all these deeper conversations. It was like one-to-ones and in groups and in my marriage and at home. I was like, oh, this theme, this one word that God gave me, I'm seeing deeper in everything, in all my conversations. So I was like, man, this is cool. This is awesome. So I would seek God for a year, every year. And if you have any millennials to share, you can share. So deeper. And then we shared this with our Rice intern cohort in 1 year. And one of the girls, she got this word trust. She said, I really feel like God's given me my one word for the year is trust. And you know what? She said, oh my gosh, I have been tested and trusting God the whole year. And there were so many, and there was a lot of big crucial things that happened in her year that she had to trust God in. But guess what? That grew her character so much, and it literally defined her direction. And yeah, but she wouldn't have got there. She wouldn't have had the courage or the boldness to face difficult things and to trust God, to lay down what she had to lay down, and then trust God that he will come through and he'll provide and he'll open doors. She would have never had the courage to do that if she never felt that this is the word that God gave me, and it's in me and it's empowering me so much. So do you see the power of getting this one word from God? Okay, so for me, I've already got my word for, I think it's actually out working right now, and it's for next year, and my word is possibilities. Possibilities. And I just got this by, I'm just casually asking God, really. I wasn't following these 3 steps, which I'll share with you. You can follow these 3 steps if you like, but I was just asking God because I asked him before, God, what's my word for next year? What is it? And I don't know, somehow I'm just doing something one day, and this word just possibilities. But before then, I was thinking of different possibilities. I was thinking of different scenarios that could happen for next year. And so when I was thinking and imagining these different scenarios, then the word came, possibilities. And it just landed in my heart, and it just sat in my heart so deeply that I began to think that, maybe this is the word from God. I wonder, God, if you've given me possibilities. And then I remembered a verse. With man, this is, I think it's in the beginning of Luke. I didn't bother looking it up, but it is in Luke or Mark. With man, it is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Oh yeah, Matthew, that verse up there on the canvas. Matthew 19:26 as well. Yeah, so I thought, okay, so of course with man, the things, the logical things, and we can only go so far, we're so limited, but with God, what he can, only God can do what he can do. He can make things happen. And possibilities become possibilities. And you know what? The funny thing was, that Sunday, right, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking to myself, and God knows, right? So we go to church. This is our once a month gathering at church. And the lady, and she's, what's her name? Sue. She's preaching, right? And she says, God is something talking about possibilities, talking about supernatural things from that story of the woman and the son, the widow. He said, this time next year you'll have a son. So anyway, she's talking about God making something possible that was impossible before. So this widow, she couldn't have children, but he prophesied to her, he said, this time next year you'll have a son, and she did have a son, and that's the story. But anyway, what happened was that really spoke to my heart. That was confirmation. I thought, okay, I'm ready to go. That's my word for next year. I was so excited because that's confirmation right there. Yeah. Okay, so that could happen to you as well. So I want to encourage you guys. So the first step is, I've taken this all actually from Matthew 7:7 about ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. So step 1, 2, 3, number 1, ask. Ask God. Ask God. God, give me one word, this theme for next year. What is that one word you have for me for next year? Just one word. So ask God, and you ask God, be specific. One word, not a phrase, not a sentence, one word, God. Highlight that to me, show me, speak to me about it, okay? So that's the first thing. And number 2, seek. So seek is about looking out, making observations. My example was I'm observing myself, I'm thinking about lots of different possibilities. I'm thinking about lots of different scenarios. Or if I go back to that word possibilities, I'm having a look. What's been happening in my life? What's this recurring theme that keeps coming up? What is a recurring word that's come out? What is the recurring situation that keeps coming out? It keeps popping up everywhere. People are speaking to me about it. I'm hearing it on the internet. I'm hearing it through a sermon. It's this word that gets highlighted. So make your observations. Be open to that. That's the second part. And third is knock. It's about the specificity of the word. So, okay, I see all these observations, but what really lands in my heart? So this might happen for you. It might come to you like that. But sometimes God just says, it's this. And then you go, okay, Sometimes it's like that. So I'm just giving you 3 steps as a structure, the framework to work with. So knock, be specific with that word. What is, amongst all the other words and some phrases, what is something that just keeps coming back to you? What is something that just keeps speaking to you? It's that word. And that's your one word for next year. Yeah, so that's how you discern your one word for next year. How cool is that?